Today is November 30th, and we've got some voicemails and some baseball and some Yankees things to discuss. Let's do it. Let's talk about the Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY and Jake. Recaps galore and weekly awards. Stat lines, steaming hot takes. Get your Yankees news with these two fine dudes. It's time for Talking Yanks. Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY and Jake. Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY and Jake.
Hello and welcome. We hope each and every one of you had a fantastic Thanksgiving and are excited to have you join us for another episode of Talkin' Yanks. My name is Jimmy, and sitting next to me is Jake. In the corner, producer Bug Dude. And the three of us celebrated Thanksgiving. And Jake, rank our Thanksgivings, 1 through 3.
Ooh. Golly. I'm 3.
Okay, wow.
Tough
Shots
start.
fired at Jess's
Tough
family.
start, yeah. Great times. I think year 1, BBD's 2.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I would have put myself 3.
I mean, 20 hours of driving kind of takes me out pretty easily.
But you didn't drive on Thanksgiving Day.
No.
Oh, I was just thinking Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, the day itself. Yeah, I still think the rankings stand.
Okay, cool.
Noodle almost ate a little kid.
Tighter gaps.
How close
Always
was Noodle
been
to eating a little kid?
Always been a theme on this podcast. Well, so there was kind of a perfect storm where Jess's folks have one of Jess's cousins just moved to the neighborhood. They have some little kids, so they came over the night before and they met Noodle. And he was hot at first, but then he chilled out, and it was like, okay, this is good. They come over the second day, and they're, like, dressed up, because families do that. And right before the kids came over, which, again, you're going to run hot for 10 minutes. Everyone's going to be tested. I mean, one good bump, and we're having a bad time. Right before the little kids walk in the door, there's a group of deer outside the back porch. So Noodle is going ham, straight upgrade from bologna. He turns around. He doesn't even notice the kids are there. One of the kids is petting him. He turns to see the kid. He just goes nuts. The kids, and they're little kids, so they've been like craving Noodle. All they talked about for 24 hours was seeing Noodle again. And then the little boy was like, I'm scared of him. And I was like, yeah, you should be.
Yeah,
Giant dog.
bigger than you.
Basically a dinosaur. So, great Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Yeah.
BBD, do you agree that yours was second place in Jake's ranking?
Yeah, I mean, I think mine was fine, so
Okay.
stands.
And for the next
Stands
hour, we will rank the Yankees Thanksgivings.
Every Yankees Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I fell and hurt my elbow.
Oh,
Ooh.
that sucks.
It's fine. Just
Okay.
scraped it.
Scraped it?
Where'd you fall?
What were you playing? Basketball in the driveway?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Did your
Fell like an idiot.
Did your brother give you a little muscle and you fell, or did you just
Try to go
left
He
behind the
didn't
back?
purposefully make contact, but it just happened, and my body's not built to touch anyone anymore.
Cuts to BBD's head on Nate Robinson's body.
Ooh.
LOL. Reference. What were you
Reference.
doing? Did you see a dog? Did you eat?
Ate food, played golf, played disc golf. My parents have this electric foot massager thing.
Ooh.
So it's like 2 25-minute sessions a day minimum.
Wow. Gross.
It's so nice.
Nice.
We got to get one.
Yeah.
Katie and I budgeted our whole lives.
Huge. It's exciting.
Turns out we spend less than we make each month, which we didn't think. We didn't know how that was going to pan out when we went through it. But we're safe there.
All right.
All right, cool. Who do you
Exciting.
think had the best Thanksgiving on the Yankees?
Ooh.
It's CeCe. Well, he's not a Yankee anymore.
Not on the Yankees.
Damn.
I feel like the Coles always roll out every holiday. The Coles roll out a picture, and you're like, "Oh, you're perfect.
They're a magazine couple.
You're perfect." Yeah.
Yeah.
Sessa and Chapman on vacation,
Yeah, how about that?
so that's fun.
How about that?
How'd that happen?
Sessa's been the Yankee for like 6 years now.
Yeah.
5 years.
Sessa's the longest tenured Yankee. People forget that.
That's a lie. 2015. I think he made his debut with the Yanks in 2015. Am I wrong there?
I think you're right. I mean, he's up there for longest tenured
Sessa,
overall.
Gardner's not on the Yankees.
Yeah, Gardner's on the Yankees.
So then it's Higgy technically.
So it's Higgy.
Oh, Higster.
Well, it
not
depends on if you're doing it in the
not
organization. Might be
Judge?
He's up there.
Sessa might have him beat.
I think he does.
Is Sessa the longest
Is
tenured?
Sessa currently the longest tenured Yankee? Because my joke.
Debuted 2016.
Okay.
Might be. I guess Gary technically like showed up in 2015 for 2 games.
Yeah. Oh, is it Gary?
Like on the
Might
MLB
be.
roster.
Like MLB Yankee first game.
Could be. Hot topic
Tanaka's
in
not a
Yankee
Yankee right now.
Yeah, Tanaka's not there. I mean, Chad Green's with Sessa, right? So he's 16 as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Baseball moves quick.
Hicks didn't come till 16.
All right, you know what we need to do to solve this real quick? Just go to the 2015 Yankees roster. I was trying to figure out the quickest way to solve this dilemma. McCann, Tex, Stephen Drew, Didi, Chase, Gardy, Ellsbury, Beltran, A-Rod, Chris Young, Greg Bird, J.R. Murphy, Garrett Jones, Brendan Ryan, Ref Snyder, Ackley, Heathcott, Mason Williams, Gary Sanchez. That's the only one so far. Austin Romine, Tanaka, not currently with us. Same with Gardner. So those are easy when they get back.
Well.
Nathan Eovaldi, CC Sabathia, Adam Warren.
Ooh. Currently not with the team.
Yeah, but Cash did
And
say
wasn't.
he will be back. And Warren made his debut with the Yankees in 2012. So if he signs, he's the longest Yankee we have, because then it's... Okay, Sevy played in 2015 too. Oh, so it's Sevy.
Ooh, okay.
Is Sevy still a Yankee?
So who came up? Sevy came up before Gary?
Yeah, Gary came up at the very end of September and then was on the playoff roster for that wild card game. Sevy made his debut August 5th, 2015.
If we're doing longest time in the organization, since Gardy's not here technically, I think it goes Higgy, and I believe Andujar's second.
And that's a
He signed
5-year
in
span.
2011.
We're doing 2015 to 2020, and we have Gary and Sevy.
Yeah, it's like a
6 year?
5.5 because it'll be going into 2021. But yeah.
And like Gary didn't really come up.
But we don't even have Sevy's the only solid answer.
That's pretty nuts.
That is
Pretty nuts. How about that? There was a Yankees chat we didn't know we were going to have.
Severino's kind of not been on the team for 2 years.
Yeah. Cool. Is that the episode?
Yeah, I think we finally figured it out, and we'll be out. Higgy, but Higgy made his debut in 2017? 2017, yeah.
What do we got?
He's been with the organization forever, but then, I don't know. We got some voicemails today. I mean, there's nothing going on. Yeah. All of the quote-unquote rumors are like not even rumors, like not even dressed up as rumors. They're just like, maybe this might be a thing.
Now, like the tweet I just saw was like, the Reds want a shortstop. It's like, oh, huge. Happy for Cincinnati. Mike Minor got signed to the Royals yesterday, so if you had him on your Yankees offseason plan, sorry. And yeah, someone left a good note in the comments. I think it was my same dude who originally had the Brett Gardner will be batting third and playing for the Yankees even if a piano falls on him. But he said the hitter, because the biggest hitter contract so far has been Josh Harrison, 1 year, $1 million.
1 year, $1 million.
The hitters haven't done anything yet. A couple pitchers have gotten paid. The hitters haven't done anything yet. And we're coming up on that December 2nd deadline, the non-tender deadline. So
we'll be recording Wednesday, but at noon, and the deadline I think is later in the day.
8 p.m.
It's 8 p.m. So maybe we'd talk about that then.
Yeah,
because we're still gonna have a lot of time talking.
So a couple more guys should hit free agency. I mean, it shouldn't be an influx, but there should be a couple more bodies. And I think the analysis there would be, if there's a couple more options, that might change a couple teams' free agent plans. So we haven't seen a lot of movement on hitters. Still, the big rumor is that the Yankees and LeMahieu seem like they're happening. There was a Blue Jays rumor this morning that they're eyeing Colton Wong because they think that DJ to the Yankees is pretty much happening. So that's kind of where it's at. Hopefully the hitters market starts moving a little bit, and hopefully we start getting some juicy Yanks stuff.
It'd be nice. A little Christmas present. I thought baseball was going to give us something Thanksgiving weekend. Throw something out there, but the only thing was one team eliminated like 60 employees. I forget who it was.
The Real Muto thing, which we'll talk about in Talking Baseball.
Yeah, the Phillies basically said that they lost $2 billion and they won't sign him.
Did you read that? That was a typo that then the New York Post had to correct.
Oh, really?
And everyone's like, well, great, because that's going to change. People only read headlines, so you really can't fuck that up.
Yeah.
I think it was $2 million.
And by the way, I don't think it takes them out. It's kind of an odd free agency. I mean, Bauer's the top pitcher. We always talk about setting the market when it comes to free agency.
I want to talk about Morton. And what does that mean for Tanaka?
Yeah.
The Braves signed Charlie Morton to a 1-year deal for $15 million. So my thing is, how does that affect Tanaka's deal?
I don't want to say unique examples because, again, free agency, money talks. Charlie Morton's a veteran. He's at the point where he's ring chasing. He's also got some wants to say local stuff. Tanaka actually have some similar stuff there. I have no idea what Masahiro Tanaka wants, man. If Masahiro Tanaka dropped a 4-year 15 per with the Yankees, I wouldn't be surprised. It could be a 1-year 15 per. I wouldn't be surprised. I have no idea what he wants or his family wants. Again, if you didn't listen to the Eric Kratz interview, go listen to it. But again, Tanaka's got a lot of moving parts in his life. His wife is very famous. He's from another country where he's more famous there than he is here. So Masahiro Tanaka's got a lot of moving parts. I don't think the Charlie Morton number surprised us at all, really.
No.
I mean, that's because you had it pegged from the start anyways. But no, I mean, if it was 1 year for 15, I don't think any of us would flinch. I think in the back of our heads, we were kind of thinking a lower number for Tanaka, but at the same time, it's starting pitching still sells. Mike Minor just got a multi-year contract, which we didn't think was going to be happening this year. Drew Smiley got paid. So I don't know. Still no idea how the Masa stuff sorts out. I know we are nowhere near at grips that Masahiro Tanaka is not going to be a Yankee. And I don't know if I'll be at the office the day if that happens.
Yeah. I'm looking at Morton versus Tanaka in the last 4 years. Trying to think if you're signing either of these guys, you're not taking the 2016 season into account.
No.
I wonder if you're really even taking the 2017.
No.
What do you think, the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2 years, and then
because their last 4 years are very similar.
It's 2 years and then meets analytics. Are they still throwing hard? Are they still...
Because this year was so weird, I guess you go back to 18, you put a little more stock in it.
Yeah.
They both have started 42... They both have pitched in 42 games in the last 2 years.
At the same time, look at Drew Smiley. I mean, they
don't take anything during the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's but they are there's some similar stuff here. Morton's hit 16 batters. Tank only 4 last 2 years.
Ooh, rude.
Tank's got a worse ERA.
Well, ERA doesn't really matter. Okay.
Yeah. Still praying for Tank and DJ. We got some voicemails. Let's go straight to these guys.
Hey, this is Tim from Chicago. I haven't called in for a while. Offseason got me thinking. Definitely got to keep Gary. I don't know if he's the future catcher. I think he will do a little bit better. We're also seeing him going to the Dominican Republic and playing, so at least he's trying. He knows he had a bad year. But I would also look into Brian McCann. He was from the White Sox last year. 2 years ago, he was an all-star. This past year, he caught Giolito's no-hitter, and I have a bunch of buddies that are White Sox fans, and they were saying that, he's a huge clubhouse presence. He was, one of the main guys, good leadership on the team. I think it'd be good for Gary, and if Gary does have a slumping year again, like, he can start every game. Just figuring what you guys would think. And I think he would work really well with Cole, and obviously that would mean getting rid of Hickey, but we also got a bunch of young guys coming up, so what are you guys thinking?
Part 2 of the question?
Hey guys, Tim from Chicago again. I realized I said Brian McCann. I meant James McCann. When I think of McCann, I just think of Brian McCann all the time. But had to correct that. I knew I was talking about James McCann. And hope you guys are doing great. And looking forward to this offseason. All right, bye.
I mean, it is kind of nonsense that we have 2 McCann catchers in baseball, like right after each
It's
other.
rude.
It's confusing.
By the sport.
Yeah. Nuts.
Kind of on James.
James McCann had some really good years, and they do talk about his leadership. They say, Giolito gave him a lot of credit for the no-hitter, and we've heard that a lot. They brought in Grandal, so McCann kind of got bumped. What did he play a lot last year? Let's see.
So, I mean, he got some run at catcher. He only played half the games last year, but he raked, and he hit pretty well the season before, 118 games, 18 home runs, a 789 OPS, which, again, for a catcher, had him as an all-star last year. So he's a weird free agency. He's clearly the second-best catcher on the market. I started stumbling into setting the market before. You know, normally the best starting pitcher sets the pitching market. That's Bauer this year, and he's got a whole bunch of unique stuff going on. Springer, I think, is kind of the consensus best, youngest, biggest contract position player. He's going to set the market that way. And then it's the catcher. We rarely see a primo catcher hit the market. JT Realmuto. He's setting the market in his own ways, and McCann is basically going to follow him, and he's not going to get a similar contract because he does not have the same track record. But over the past, 2 seasons, which is 149 games, which again is insane, he's got an 808 OPS, and he is loved. You mentioned the Giolito no-hitter. The first thing he did was, shout out McCann, and, it's one of those weird things that, a catcher normally has this strong position on a team. They're connected to the staff. They're part of the hitters. They're, a connect the dot piece in the clubhouse, offensively, defensively. They get beat up where, I think kind of like when Miguel Andujar moved away from third and we saw Gio Urshela, if the Yankees' next big-time catcher is a defensive stud, like we're going to look at some of the Gary tape and their tape and be like, yeah, okay. Like it's, we have been brainwashed to a degree. That being said, my stance on Gary's the same. We're in bed with him. Hey, maybe I'm proved wrong.
From 2018 to 2020, Gary Sanchez versus McCann, OPS plus. What are you thinking? So I have 18, 19, 20.
18. So unfortunately, I have McCann's stats in front of me, and I see that he had a pretty bad 2018. So I would guess McCann. I would guess McCann is around 100 OPS plus, and Gary's probably like 110.
No, McCann is 89, and Gary's 99.
There you go. So
both bad stats. I guess 2018 was really bad for McCann.
Yeah, and guys, McCann. I know we're all excited for new catchers. Go look at McCann's stats. He's not a safe bet by any means. He's 30 years old. He's got one full season of being a decent player, and that's where this catcher thing. And how many times have you guys heard us say compare Gary Sanchez to catchers, and you're gonna like him a lot more? So
not recently. Still not recently. But
I mean, man, even last year as a whole, Gary Sanchez's hitting numbers as a catcher are really good. Not 2020, 2019. He had a really bad finish to the season, but his numbers compared to catchers were good in 2019. I know he's been bad for a while. The defense is never going to be elite. He's shown spackles of it. I mean, wherever Gary's arbitration number is going to be, $5 million, $6 million, is that what we think or we've heard?
It's going to be a raise from $5 million.
It's going to be a raise from $5 million. So let's say it's $7 million, which I think is kind of at the edge of it. A 1-year, $7 million risk on Gary Sanchez is still going to be better than giving out a contract or just moving on for nothing. So I still think we're in bed. Hey, maybe I get proven wrong in the next 48 hours and they non-tender him. Seems really doubtful. I do, and this just gets really tricky, Jim, because I think if I was playing a video game, when the Yachty thing originally got thrown out there, it does trigger something in my head that's like, that would be a blast. Like, defensive angry Yachty and Gary, and, that could turn into a fun thing, could turn into a bad thing. We're also in bed with Higgy a little bit. The Yankees organization loves Higgy. We love Higgy. That I don't think anything's going to happen at the catching position. I think there's going to be a lot of talk about it, but it's going to be Gary and Higgy.
I agree, because you got to make a big move otherwise. McCann's 30.
McCann's 30.
He's older. What would you have to pay for him? And people were getting real upset with us because we posted the video of me saying, like, he'd be dumb not to do it. And then the Yankees came out and said, like, of course Gary's coming back.
Right.
They defended him a little too much. Michael K. went off. I don't know if you saw any of that. Okay, went off on Boone.
Yeah.
Ripped him apart. Which is, I get what K's doing, but I also get what Boone's doing. But there is a middle ground somewhere where, like, come on. You can't just be like, I don't know. Maybe that's what we do. He was awful. He's been awful.
Yeah. No, he's...
But you're not going to sell him for nothing when there's the value could still be there. Like, if he's awful for the first half of 2021, then
it's time.
Then it's dump and run and bring in someone new. But even then, you're going to trade him or get rid of him for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you almost got to ride Gary. These are the options in my mind. Either he plays himself back to being good, and at that point, you can use him in a trade if you have a better option down the line, or Gary's good again, so play him. Or he gets so bad he gets DFA'd.
Yeah.
Because the window of trading him and getting a return isn't open. And if he continues the way he's been playing, it's never going to open.
Yeah.
So you would DFA him. That's like the end of this year or halfway through this year if it continues. Like, it's that bad. But you're just not going to move him for nothing now. And then maybe it was an injury and a weird season and a slump, and he's better.
I think I had my weird Jakey Shower comparison thought last night.
Ooh, okay.
So, let's say the Yankees are a company. Let's be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary Sanchez is a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary Sanchez was really good at selling the most important thing, hitting home runs.
Okay, I got you.
He was kind of bad at some of the other stuff. There was some other side insurances he wasn't great about.
He wouldn't send invoices.
Yeah, like, his expense reports he was bad at.
Sloppy.
Just straight bad at blocking. And now he's kind of gone into this thing where he's not really selling anything.
No.
And, he's sad. We as a company are sad.
Just a legacy employee at this time.
But, it's this last effort. Are you going to let him go to a competitor and maybe he's reinvigorated and now he's selling against your company and he looks great? It's like, no, let's give this one more shot. And if you walk away saying, like, man, we gave it every ounce. It was a 60-game season last year.
But it was bad for most of 2019.
For the end of 2019.
And end of 2018.
And yeah, it's looked weird. And there's some factors. Velo has gone up. The shifting on Gary has gotten a lot better and has rendered him useless in some degree. So I get it. There is some special pop in that bat. Let's see if we can make it work. Because guess what? If there was a litany of catching options out there, if there was 15 free agents who are, good, and you can make an argument against Gary, yeah, it's probably time to move on. There's not. Yeah. That doesn't exist. We are next season away if Gary Sanchez puts together his 2019 season, which is, how possible would you say that is?
Yeah, pretty possible. That's not going to really do anything.
But, that makes him, if Gary Sanchez can do what he did in 2019, that makes him a top 5 catching option? Top 10, worst case?
It does, 841 OPS, 118 OPS plus, but I wouldn't. I would need more than that.
Okay.
Or a different recipe to get there.
Yeah.
The 316 on base percentage and 230 batting average. I know he still amounts to a high OPS, but day in, day out, you could never rely on him. You could never plug him into the top half of the lineup. He has home runs throughout the course of the year.
He got a little, he ran hot and cold. And again, that finish, or actually, did he get hot towards the end? He had one bad slump. Was it August? I forget. I'm looking at the numbers now. But, yeah, man, I agree with what you're saying. And again, it ties into, the people that said Gary was a DH forever. Well, you guys were arguing that, saying Gary's a bad defensive catcher, and we've done that dance enough, I won't do it. Maybe it is durability. I mean, maybe Gary's body can't hold up behind a plate for a full season, and he does have to look into a career DHing, or, does he have to move to first base? I don't know. If that makes him hit how he used to hit, then yeah, that is a career thing Gary would have to look into. But I think for now, he turns 28 on December 2nd, so the Yanks are not going to non-tender him on their birthday. What do people think's going to happen? Happy birthday, you're non-tendered?
His birthday's coming up?
December 2nd?
Cut day.
That's a great strategic birthday.
There's a
for Gary.
storyline. Good job, Gary.
That's the best move he's done so far. All right.
The other things to consider with Gary, one, he's now just 2 years away from free agency anyway, so he does 2019 again. Then there's just one more year. You sit through it. If he's bad again, whatever, he's free agent, you let him go. Also, he's going to be 28 for this season. In baseball, it's very common for guys to finally put it all together at 28. So I don't know. There's reasons to bet on the tools for one more year if he's bad again. Yeah.
Just doesn't have value to trade right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put a kibosh on Gary talk. We'll do it after the DFA or after the non-tender deadline. And then unless there's news, no more of these combos, because I feel like we've done them 3 eps in a row now.
Yeah. Dude, this is actually wild. I'll show you. Gary splits from the 2019 season. He was great, except in July. OPS is by month. April, March, 980. May, 979. June,
Good.
824.
Good.
July, 358.
How many games did he play?
15 games.
358.
102 batting average.
Yikes.
August, 978 OPS. September, October, 851 OPS. So for every month, he was a really good hitter.
15 games in June?
July, where he was a disaster.
15 games in July.
I mean, dude, just looking at it, we look at Baseball Reference a lot. It's almost like he was hurt.
Those 14 games started in July tanked his entire 2019 stats. If he was hurt and playing on a nagging injury and they just sat him down, his final stats would be,
he might have a 900 OPS.
Well, easily.
Which is unreal
quick math,
for a
it'd be
catcher.
like a 905 OPS. Batting average still isn't going to be great. It's going to be around 250, which is good for a catcher. So 14 games in July killed his 2019. That's tough.
Which is a really weird way to scope things. And hey, again, now when we use those stats, we're starting to become, probably too far of Gary defenders. But he also has that in the tank, and there's probably 3 other catchers that do have that in the tank. And they're not available. Well, Real Muto is available, but we're not paying for him.
We're not paying for him. We got other stuff to pay for.
Hats.
Badges.
Laundry bill.
Wear
Yankees
a union just by saying so.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. I always break in the newsies.
Thanks, Brian McCann.
Just looking at Ice-T and Gary Sanchez Jr. in a Twitter fight right now, calling each other little bitches. It's pretty funny. Next voicemail. But before we go to the next voicemail, how about a little ad for ourselves? Watchins. JOMBOY and Jake TV is a YouTube channel. I think it gets posted on Facebook as well. I'm not positive. But the YouTube channel, most importantly, every Monday, every Friday, we think. Definitely one Monday or one Friday. I think we're going to get back to every Monday and Friday. Bad start to the ad read, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Watching baggage, watching old shows. We did MTV Singled Out is the show that's out today, which was a wild trip deep into the 90s and the genre there. But basically just watching funny stuff. Taking it in, reacting. It's growing like crazy right now. The biggest selling point is wives, husbands, spouses. I said this the last time I did an ad for it, and I got a lot of responses like, yeah, that's what I watch with my wife.
Yeah.
Who says, "Oh, this is the baseball guys you like?
Yeah.
This is funny. I'll watch this." So if you ever need something to watch, just throw on. It's like 20 minutes, and they're fun.
How about that?
How about that? Next voicemail.
James, Jacob, it's Artie checking in. I miss you. I hope I get to see you next year. Anyways, here's what I wanted to talk about. So it has to do with analytics and pitching, and I do believe in the analytics. I do believe that if you're a strikeout pitcher, you're more likely to do better because of BABIP and all that nonsense. But here's the problem. You only have 7, maybe when the roster expansion comes, 8 pitchers in the bullpen. You know, throughout a season, throughout a week, that adds up. You know, you only have a starter who can go 5 innings. That's 4 bullpen innings a game. 6 games a week. That's 24 bullpen innings a week of guys who can only throw strikeouts. Those pitches add up. At the end of the season, you look like the Rays did in the World Series. You're burnt out. So I feel like no one's talking about that specifically, though, like the cumulative burnout. So I wanted to hear what you guys thought about it. All right. Can't wait to hear it. Love you. Bye.
Thanks, Artie. It is a really bad recipe.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to do all these bullpen innings and you're also going to make your bullpen just all strikeout guys, that's a bad formula.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to burn them out. We're seeing this everywhere now. That's why, Britton's actually a really good get because he can throw some ground balls. You can save him. But yeah, I mean, the Holders and the Warrens, if they could be like really consistent, they'd be so valuable.
Sessa in 2019.
He's kind of a strikeout guy.
Not to the degree as the other guys. I mean, he's got good stuff, and when he's right, but...
I think he pitches like he's a strikeout guy.
Okay.
He doesn't pitch to contact. But maybe that's where Nick Nelson, Mike King can help out next season.
Yeah.
You need someone that can go multiple innings and induce some contact and some swings and get some quick outs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's baseball is a living, breathing thing. Ooh. It's constantly evolving. Shifts, home runs, blah blah blah. Like we're about to see more evolution, and this is where I kind of get frustrated, Jim, and it ties into how the Yankees kind of handle their guys. Like, we've seen Zach Britton pitch 2 innings, and he can, and we've seen Chad Green stretched out, but we've seen the Yankees do it way too strategically. Like they'll do that one Chad Green 40-pitch inning before the playoffs just to make sure he's got it and then rest him up. Like, you kind of need that in a season now. You kind of need guys to pitch 2 innings, and the way I think baseball is going to go is we've all seen it. Starting pitchers 2 times through the order. It was the whole thing in the World Series with Blake Snell. Starting pitchers are asked to go 2 times through the lineup, and, if a game's a blowout, you try to get a little more. If not, you're going to the bullpen. I think the future of bullpen guys is you have to be able to go 2 innings. You have to be able to go through a lineup once. And I think the Yankees have those guys, but they kind of refuse to do it. I mean, we've seen Tommy Kahnle had pitched multiple innings in the past. Britton, Chad Green. Like, the Yankees, whatever formula they have, and, we know what it is. We think their formula is more rested, better. I think they do need to stretch these guys out that, if you can get 3 innings out of a Chad Green, if he's mowing dudes down one day and he's out for the next 3 days, that can be worthwhile because you might have just saved 2 other arms, and they can pitch back-to-back days if you need them. So I think the Yankees are probably recalculating their bullpen philosophy a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they're going to look to the Sessa and the Holders, and, I'm sure there's also bullpen numbers that if a bullpen guy comes out for the 2nd innings, his stat goes down, and the Yankees have those, and they don't want to do it. So it's
wasn't that Holder? Who was that? Was it Chad Green or was it Holder?
There was one year where Holder, his 2nd innings were a disaster.
I used to tweet out the stats.
Yeah.
Like
2nd inning Holder was a nightmare. But I just think, and again, it's kind of where I think the Yankees are getting left behind a little bit, is you should have maybe each team should have one guy in their bullpen who can only pitch 1 inning. And that should be Chapman, who can. The Yankees stretch him out further in the playoffs. But again, go look at the Rays. Every guy in that, they don't have a 1-inning guy. Any guy in their bullpen is more than willing to pitch 2 innings at any given time. And
it was Betances.
That's how they end up saving. Betances was there. Already says Holder in 18. I think the Yankees, we've said this phrase a lot. It's, the Yankees sometimes need to not be the Yankees. And I think the bullpen's a great example of that.
Yeah. But it's across baseball. Like, the Yankees are just kind of following the formula that a lot of teams are following with big weapons in the pen.
Yes, but also the Yankees have a lot of high-paid guys, the Ottavinos and Britons, that they treat as 1-inning guys, where the Rays would never do that. Like Fairbanks, Castillo, Anderson, those guys are ready to go 2 innings at a moment's notice.
They just need to develop the way they use Nick Nelson, but develop him into a guy you could use when you're up. But then you have to be up big to use those guys.
And Nick Nelson's got pretty cool stuff, but he might not be good. Baseball's a sick sport and he may never be good. His stuff looks good enough that, Nick Nelson might be good in 2022, but we'll deal with that when 2022 comes.
Oh, hell no! New soundbite.
That's good.
Had to drop it.
So good.
Nelson pitched 20 innings, man. Pretty nuts.
60-game season, so you go to 120 games, and that's 40 innings, and then you go to another 60 would be 180, but that's
11 games.
Unrealistic. So yeah, I hope he's real good.
I'm not saying him. I'm just saying you need someone to be that role for you.
Length. Adam Warren.
But they only use those guys in losses.
Right. And I think that's part of the problem, and that's where...
And I kind of agree with that because I get mad when they use those guys in close games, but the Yankees do that a lot.
And that's where
What a tricky situation.
When 2019 was happening and the Yankees were racking up wins, it was kind of perfect formula. Like, the Yankees would mix in a blowout win, and then they could save the bullpen. And it's like that 2019 season was sweet because, again, that was coming off of the year we were pissed at Boone for not going to the good bullpen enough. We didn't have enough good bullpen this year, so I'm still hoping. I really hope Cashman does some puppetry, and I don't know if we have a starting pitcher voicemail, but I end up saying this every offseason now, so I need to find another way to do it. But how much does Brian Cashman believe in this young core? The Mike Kings, the Clark Schmidts, the Nick Nelsons. Who else am I missing coming up in the bullpen? Like the Yajuris. Like, I don't think he does.
Hooray! Miggy Yahoo. We like him.
Between bringing in, a veteran starting pitcher, veteran in the bullpen who's more proven, because Yanks got thin last year. We were going, hey, Chad, Britton, Chappie, if we've got a pitch in the 6th inning, we're fucked. Yeah. And that's not a good feeling.
That's his breakout year. We do have a voicemail about starting pitchers, but I'm not sure it's the direction you want to go.
Okay.
Hey, this is Brett Hale. Missed the live streams. And I miss baseball. Got me thinking from Instagram here. Who do you think would win in a fashion show, Garrett Cole's wife or Tanaka's wife?
Oh.
Go Yanks.
I didn't know we were doing wives here. I thought we were doing men. And Tanaka would trounce Cole.
Yeah, we'll pass on the wives question. They tie for first place.
Yes.
And that's obvious. Yeah, because... there's some. How about this?
So sometimes what I do is I Google Masahiro Tanaka, right?
Yeah.
I go to his Wikipedia, and then I copy and paste the Japanese characters, and I start a Google search.
Okay.
Then I go to Google Translate, and I type in suit or sexy. We'll do sexy, all right, in English, and I want to find out what the characters are in Japanese, and then I copy and paste those, and now I'm in Japanese internet where I've searched Tanaka sexy, and then I go images, and this is just a Saturday night for me.
Yeah, Tanaka sexy.
But you have to search it in the Japanese characters so you get the real good stuff.
So, a couple things. Steve Cohen just dubbed Andy Martino and continues his hot streak of running the internet. So
I tried to warn. What can you tell me that? I tried to warn Mets beat writers, like, dude, like he's coming for you.
Yeah. And he's doing a great job. Tanaka is going to take more outfit risks, right? Tanaka's not scared to go with a funky pair of sunglasses or maybe a scarf. I think Garrett, if we're doing a true fashion show, there's going to be some outfits where Garrett just says, I'm not doing that. I think Tanaka's more open. I think that gives him a higher risk, higher reward. So, I'm probably going 60-40 Tanaka. If they have 10 fashion offs, I'm taking Tanaka 6 out of 10 times. Cole's look is strong, and he owns it. I think Tanaka has more versatility.
Tanaka could wear the same thing over and over again, and you'd be like...
Oh, so you're almost going the exact opposite of me. You have Tanaka in the same outfit every time, just saying, like, let the chips fall where they may.
Tanaka puts on his one suit, does his hair nice, stands there with his watch on.
Okay.
And Cole is a constant revolving door of like walks out. Like in like
Tanaka gets in his head.
Movie scenes where they're trying to find the dress for prom and the girl walks out and everyone goes, no.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay. And then she walks out, she's like this. And they're like, no. And then finally, that's Cole.
Yeah.
And Tanaka's just staying there.
Yeah. No, okay. So that's what it is. I think they're going like pretty much every other. And then about the 5th time, Cole realizes Tanaka's going same outfit every time. Starts getting in his head.
Yes.
Starts getting in his head.
Yeah, he comes out. It's like, going rock, paper, scissors against someone who's just throwing rock constantly.
Yeah.
And then like somehow you throw rock as well, and you're just tying, but he counts it as a loss. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I have him wearing this suit and tie combo the whole time.
That's a good look for him. Oh my God, I look that men's X. Look how tough he looks there.
Oh, yeah. That's what Cole's staring down.
Yeah. Again, end of the Kratz interview. If you didn't listen to it, some good Tanaka stuff.
We should get that on a soundbite. Just Kratz saying, I am famous too. In
I was
Tanaka's
thinking
voice.
that pre-show.
Yeah, that should be good. There. All right, next voicemail.
Hey guys, Gary from Bridgewater here. Looking forward to seeing you at some Somerset Patriots games next year. Pumped to have a AA team right around the corner. Curious who you guys thought would be most negatively impacted by no minor league season this year. Who really missed out on that development time facing live hitters? Maybe they didn't get enough work in Scranton or didn't get any work at all. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Jake doesn't suck. Bye.
I don't really have a lot of. Thanks for the call. I don't have a lot of names I can go off right away, but the catcher,
the draft
Austin
pick,
Wells?
Austin Wells. Yeah, he was actually who I was gonna say. First round draft pick. We kind of thought they'd invite him to camp almost as a like.
Some teams did that. Yeah,
you're the first round pick, and his hitting is supposed to kind of be there, and that's where I'm still kind of surprised because all the stories we heard from the summer camp stuff sound pretty legit. Like. We interviewed Jake Odorizzi on Talkin Baseball, and Kirilloff, their top prospect who got the start in the playoff game for them. It was his first playoff game. Odo was like, yeah, we faced off every day because Odorizzi was rehabbing at the alternate site. And so that's where, like, I was going to put Estevan Florial in that camp because he's been the name for so many years, and, everything says he's rough around the edges, he needs more reps, and he's had injuries where, I wonder if this was a great year for Florial. He was playing with major leaguers pretty much every day and getting the work in and seeing the Yankees pitchers at the alternate site where, I think that's where you flip a coin and you make arguments. Was it, would Estevan Florial have gotten better experience playing high A and AA baseball games? Or did Estevan Florial get better experience being at the alternate site and doing stuff with major leaguers every day? I lean the latter. So I think it's probably good for Florial, and yeah, I think, Austin Wells jumps out, or are there young pitching prospects who didn't make the cut? That would be your only lean, right?
I'd assume even them, like they get to throw bullpens and stuff, and
a lot of them made it. I
assume the arms they believe in long term made it.
Right.
The batch you have. I just went to the Yankees top 10 prospects that have bats in their hands.
Sure.
Ezequiel Duran.
Your guy.
Alberto is his middle name. He's 20 years old, and he was in A-ball in 2019 and kind of lit it up. at least power-wise. 13 home runs.
More than me.
In 66 games. So he didn't get any at-bats. Another guy is Oswald Peraza, which we talked about him. He just got on the 40-man, right?
Up.
He didn't play at all in 2020. And then there was two others. Alexander Vargas, Cuban shortstop in the system. He was 17-year-olds in 2019, so he's maybe 19. He's young, so a lot of time to still continue to develop.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Kevin Alcantara, and he's 17 years old too.
Yeah.
So the Yankees' next wave of guys, if they make it there, is very young.
Yeah, I mean
the Martian, Alcantara is a teenager, Vargas is a teenager, Peraza 20.
The sneaky way to go around it is the guys who probably got hurt the most were AAA, borderline major league guys that if a full season had happened and there were injuries and stuff, they might get the call and come up. And that kind of wasn't available this year. It was all 40-man. And
Yeah.
Where's Trey Amburgey right now?
They don't have him. Fangraphs doesn't have him on the Yankees anything.
I know. Drives me nuts. Could be any one of us.
Trey, how do you even spell his name?
Amburgey. Baseball Reference says his current team is still the Yankees. Parentheses minus.
How do you spell Trey?
Trey.
He doesn't even pop up for me.
Yeah, I don't think he has a Wikipedia yet.
But I'm doing that into Baseball Reference, and it won't auto-populate. And then look, I searched it, Trey Amburgey, and it says no results.
They hate you.
Maybe Baseball Reference has blocked me.
Yeah, from Trey Amburgey.
That doesn't seem fair.
Really doesn't.
Come on, guys.
So there you go.
So he's still with the Yanks?
According to this, his full name. He goes by Trey. His full name is Tommy Wayne Amburgey.
Should we get him on the pod?
I think we should have access to him.
We at least need.
How old is
And
Trey
the rules
Amburgey?
are we
26.
can call him anytime.
Yes.
He's 26.
That is an interesting note, BBD, because my counter was going to be maybe he's Tommy Wayne Amburgey III, and that's why he goes by Trey, but...
I mean, maybe Baseball Reference doesn't have him listed that way. And
Yeah.
Tommy being the first name is great.
Tommy Wayne Amburgey. We always end up here.
He went to the same high school as Trey Turner.
Trea.
Yes.
I'm pretty freaked out by
That's
this whole
got me a
thing.
little freaked out.
Yeah.
I went to click his high school page on Baseball Reference to see if there's any other players from his high school that ever went pro. And the only other guy is also named Trey.
I've got an update.
And Trey Amburgey's first name isn't even Trey. Did they play together?
30-second timeout.
Okay.
Trey Amburgey, his Twitter handle is at Bergey III. So that makes me think
He goes by Bergey?
he is the third.
That would make sense.
Baseball Reference doesn't have him as the third, and he goes by Trey.
Is his Twitter, what's his Twitter? Burgy?
Bergey the third. I don't think he has a tweet, but it was linked to his MILB thing.
He's never tweeted.
He's waiting for the right tweet.
His favorite Bible verse is Isaiah 43:18.
Okay, he's liked some stuff on Twitter.
So he's active.
No.
When did he like stuff?
He liked one tweet in 2017 and one tweet in September of this year.
What were the tweets?
One is
one is by a friend of a friend of ours.
Yeah, so one is a WWE tweet, and the other is Steven Sousa Jr., who is on Trevor Plouffe's sequence.
First episode.
Only God can give you true peace. Everything else you try to put in a place of him will feel good for a while, then fail you.
Okay. Second anniversary of his wedding came up recently.
I think we gotta.
I'm messaging him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Our dad and grandpa also named Trey.
Well, no, it's Tommy.
Is your
Tommy,
like legal
Are you-
first
go
name?
by Trey.
Yeah. What's his Instagram handle?
Trey Amburgey. T.W. Amburgey.
Twamberg.
Amburgey.
Because his middle name is Wayne.
Yeah,
TW.
Tommy Wayne. Our dad and grandma, well, it should be grandpa,
Grandma.
also named Tommy, but go by Trey.
So we're a little off the rails, so I'll get this anecdote in. One of our college friends, actually, Blake.
Sent.
He was dating a girl for a while, never met her, only saw her on Instagram. And so her Instagram handle had it was her first initial, middle initial, last name. But I assumed that it was first initial and last name. So as a joke one time, I said her last name that I thought it was with the middle initial. And he lost it because he's like, that is not her last name.
So you would have called her Wamberg.
Her last name is Lambeth, but her middle initial is F, so I called her Flambeth.
That's a funny addition.
It's pretty good, yeah.
All right, so we'll update you on Trey.
So
It is
that's
shocking
huge.
that, I mean, do you think that him and, how old's Trey Turner?
I want to say like 24.
Dude, Trey Turner's was born, I mean, was there a high school the two Treys?
So Trey Amburgey's 26.
When was Trey Amburgey born? 93?
94.
They might have played together then at the high school.
They were definitely teammates.
It's Trey and Trey.
The Treys.
Park Vista Community High School, Trey and Trey.
Yeah.
Spelled two different ways.
St. Pete, so he's just like local.
Maybe that's why he's always a spring training guy.
Always.
Live here.
Can't
guys.
leave. All right.
All right. Do we have another voicemail? I think we might have one more. Yeah.
Hey, this is Tim from Chicago, calling in again. I was just looking around, and I don't know why. I know we're linked to Lindor a lot, but I just feel like we have to give up so much for him. I guess another really, really, really high quality shortstop that you could do for kind of the 1 year, but I think you wouldn't have to give up as many prospects would be Javi Baez. I know the name's just as big, but his past years haven't been there, and the ceiling's super high, plus he's super good defensively. And the Cubs are looking to unload like a bunch of guys because their payroll's so high because they're not going to be able to keep these guys around for free agency. And if we like him, we can keep him around, but he's also a guy that can play, third and second base, so that it gives them the flexibility that Cashman likes. So just wondering, like, maybe the name of Lindor is just so much that like you're gonna have to give up a lot more. Maybe you save a prospect or two with the Baez one. All right, let me know what you think. Bye.
Javi Baez.
If they don't get DJ, go get Lindor. I'll turn into like a sports radio caller.
Yeah, you'll see us in rare form if they don't re-sign DJ.
Yeah. Yeah. If they don't get DJ, they better have a plan. I'm not trying to knock Javi, and my internet crapped out, so I can't really Google or look up what I was trying to look up. But yeah, if it's not DJ and then they don't pivot and try to go all out and get Lindor, then fucking I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's
you will see me become kind of like a reactionary, like, what are we doing here?
You know what I haven't referenced in a while, Jim?
Parks and Rec.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's been a long time.
I was going to go with Cashman's whiteboard.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't busted out the whiteboard in a little bit. 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans. Man, Lindor, and part of the reason I think you'd see Jimmy and I in rare form, despite my Tiny Tim outfit today, man, does he cure...
Buy me last pape.
Does he cure a lot of our concerns instantly? Shortstop defense, done. He adds a switch hitter to the top of the lineup to finally balance things out just a little bit.
Send Hicks back to like the 6-8 hole where he can thrive.
I mean, the number of little bugs that he squashes around the way. Murderer?
Yeah. Dude hates bugs.
Is really exciting. That being said, you asked about Javi Baez. Javi does have a little more versatility in the infield. He's got the special tags, and he's a freak. He's a freak athlete, and he had a bad year last year, and he talked about the new video rules a little bit. He pointed to that. None of the Cubs hit this year, really. It's that NL Central pitching. Tell that to Bieber. Anyways. Yeah, man. I mean, Javi Baez is a great baseball player. If he ends up on the Yankees, I will point out all the great stats about him, and we'll get really excited.
I still think DJ's the number one plan. Bring back DJ.
Yeah, DJ's the plan, and all signs are pointing to that happening, which we should be really excited about. Guy's been top 5 MVP the past couple years. We would get ourselves up about Baez. Yes, the price tag should be cheaper than Lindor. He's been the worst of recent years. He's a different kind of player than Lindor. He's a low on base percentage guy, so when the other stuff isn't there, it all kind of falls apart, and that's a little bit of what happened this year. The defense is good. He can move around if we needed that. No, man, if Javi Baez was a Yankee tomorrow, yes, the price tag would be a little cheaper than Lindor. I would be Googling his opposite field power, seeing if we could tap into that a little more. And, yeah, I'd be really excited about it. But I don't know. If it's not DJ, it kind of seems like Lindor or bust. And the shortstop market is really funny, man. I referenced this earlier with the Reds tweet, but there's Didi's out there, Simeon's out there, Lindor, Baez, and Story are all in the trade market. This doesn't happen for shortstop. So if the DJ thing were to fall apart, we have options, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. And, Gleyber Torres should have us still excited.
Yeah, with his bat, for sure.
Yes, as a baseball player.
Oh, yeah, even all around. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. I was going to try and find some article about the two Treys tearing it up, but the internet's not working. It's not working.
Yeah, it's fighting me over here, too.
But they tore it up.
Oh,
you think they batted 1-2?
Ooh, the Treys batting one. Probably, right? MLB players.
Yeah.
No, I think their coach got cute and split them up. Put a gritty guy in between them.
Okay.
Trey Turner, gritty guy, Trey Amburgey.
For all of our listeners that are Padres fans listening to Talkin' Yanks, you guys have someone in your system called Austin Smith. He may have been on the Trey and Trey team with them in Florida.
I've typed both names into the search engine, and there's an article comes up from Talk Nats, which,
wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Are we
That's
colleagues?
A fight.
Talks about them facing Jose Fernandez in high school playoffs. So, bang.
Damn. In the weeds. That's all, guys. Thank you very much to those who called in. Thank you very much to those who listened. We'll see you next time. See you Wednesday. We'll be discussing the decisions the Yankees have made or are about to make regarding the 40-man roster and some other stuff. We're doing voicemails again. If you have a voicemail, surely call in. If you're too scared to use your voice because you sound like this, email or DM or get in touch however you want. YouTube comment.
Outside of Gary, is there anyone who's like a maybe?
Find out Wednesday. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.